Hello world, Lady Mega Lucario here. Just under a month to go for the new Pokemon games, and I'm both excited and a little nervous about the upcoming games. We still don't know what the starters evolve into, though we've been told that Skull Bunnies will be suspenseful, which I'm very much hoping doesn't mean more firefighting on the way. 3 of 8 was quite enough, thank you. However, a chunk of new information has come to the fore that I want to share with you. Galarian Ponyta has had its official release, and it turns out I was wrong. It's not actually a fairy type, it's a psychic. This actually matches well with its location, as a lot of the Pokemon where it apparently lives are fairy types, which means a psychic typing allows it to protect the Fae from poison types, while the Fae can protect it from dark types. It's a surprisingly smart type choice, even if I was not expecting it. Galarian Ponyta is in Pokemon Shield only, so those of us playing Sword will need to trade for the My Little Ponyta. There are 4 new Gigantamax Pokemon coming to Sword and Shield. Charizard gets a Gigant form as a blazing draconic creature, which we will probably see allied with the undefeated champion Leon, since his partner Pokemon and possibly Ace is a Charizard. For those who buy the game early, there will be a Meowth available who can Gigantamax into Longcat. Its G-Max move turns normal type moves into G-Max Gold Rush, which is a scary powerful form of Payday, and also confuses opponents. This Meowth looks scarily unstable on its feet, but reminds me of what happens when you pick a kitty up under its front paws. Cats are liquid, we know this, they stretch and squish to get as much space as possible, so the Longcat Meowth is not entirely unreasonable, just a little silly looking. If you own and have played Let's Go Pikachu or Eevee, you will have access to 2 more G-Maxable Pokemon in the form of unevolvable Pikachu and Eevee. Pikachu takes on its Gen 1 Chubby Chew shape with a larger glowing tail, and its G-Max turns any electric move into G-Max Volt Crash, which paralyzes any opponent including ground types. While Eevee gets insanely floofy, like how the heck does it even function floofy, and its G-Max turns normal moves into G-Max Cuddle, which works like a trap by infatuating the opposing Pokemon if they're of an opposite gender. The embargo on those who got to play the beginning of the game up to Route 3 or for 90 minutes, whichever comes first, has been lifted, and there is an insane amount of news coming through, so please bear with me while I try to share it all. To start with, the wild area is ginormous, with multiple biomes that you can explore over the course of the game. And yes, I mean over the course of the game because of 2 really important factors. One is that there's areas of the wild area you cannot access until later, suggesting you have to get to it another way, or there's water that needs to be traversed. The second factor is the mixing of high level Pokemon into the area. The wild area does not scale with you. You will know when you have access and when you really shouldn't when you walk into a route and get wrecked by something many levels higher than you are. And no, apparently you cannot just catch these OP Pokemon in order to wreck through the game, because they will just bat the Pokeball away before turning your team and your face into mush. Each biome has different Pokemon living within it, and interestingly this can change even further depending on the weather, as for example if it's snowing there's much more likely to be ice types, while sun draws out bugs and grass types. This makes it feel much more like a living world rather than a set of randomly assigned things. Encounters in the wild area work in 3 ways. You have the visible roaming Pokemon who you can either sneak past or antagonize and run into, and by the way, yes, they will chase you if you sprint past them. Hello Vespiquen. You can also sneak up to exclamation mark Pokemon in the tall grass to find unusual things, but if you sprint the likelihood is you'll miss them or they'll run, a la Omega Ruby Sapphire. And then there's the usual random encounters. If you're a competitive player, and even if you're not, pay close attention to the Pokemon with yellow auras, because they're the ones who have some max IVs and egg moves, making them rather potent fighters. You will get a flavor text when you enter the battle with them warning you that this is a powerful Pokemon. I like this feature because it will be stupidly helpful when I'm prepping my competitive team, though I have heard that there will be a way to make even your starting team into a competitive force. I don't have any details on that yet. The wild area will have objective markers in it, so you will always know where you're supposed to be going. Though if you're like me, you'll see that marker go, okay, that's where I need to go, and 3 hours later might actually get there. A quality of life update I highly appreciate is that you can now access your PC from anywhere in the wild area via the menu. Considering that the PC is now the hub for naming and move deletion as well as storing your Pokemon, I'm happy about that, as there is no more having to search out that one NPC that can do what you need. Also, there is an autosave feature that can be turned off if you want to save in front of a static Pokemon in order to either shiny hunt or try for a specific nature. Autosave equals yay, because I know some trainers forget to save, and I've done it too when I'm in a rush, but the fact you can turn it off in order to do things like shiny hunt makes it better, as it gives you some control over your last save point. Oh, and by the way, you can save just before you pick your starter, so if you want to reset for a certain nature or shiny, you can. You can collect Watts in the wild area from Max Raid Battle Stones, both active and inactive, in order to buy powerful TMs, camping equipment and curry ingredients. Some of these things can only be bought in the wild area, so Watts are kind of important. You can ping your friends both online and in local multiplayer from an area just outside the wild area in order to explore together. However, if you go into a Max Raid battle without encountering enough human players, you will get NPCs like this adorable Eevee trainer wearing an Eevee costume. Pokemon Centers in this game are your primary hubs for healing and item purchase, as well as containing a PC for all of the above things that I mentioned a PC could do. Experience is split between the party automatically from the beginning of the game, and no, you can't turn it off. However, I'm quite happy about that feature, as it keeps the levels of your Pokemon relatively balanced and prevents one poor sod at the back of your party from getting left behind. Clothing and hair changes can be done from the first big city, meaning you can customize your character pretty much within the first hour of gameplay if you want to, making it so you're wandering around the wild areas you, rather than the initial generic trainer. Yes, we all love Scottish Scary Girl trainer, but I want to look like me when I'm wrecking gym leaders in giant stadiums. Finally, apparently the game has really taken to its English roots, and there's a lot of Pokemon names that are based on things that will make English people giggle. Also, your mum is mum, not mom, which is how it's supposed to be if you're English, like me. Well, that's where I hailed from anyway. I'm looking forward to seeing the Britishisms in action. Oh my gosh, I cannot wait for next month when I can start playing Sword and Shield for reals, and I will be starting my live stream the moment it goes live on my Switch, which should hopefully be midnight UK time, as I have an English Switch, which means it will be 7 PM EST. I look forward to seeing all of you then, and if there's any more news that comes out before then and now, I will give it to you as soon as I get it. For now, this is Lady Megalucario signing out. Bye guys! Oh, by the way, you can save just before you pick your starter, so if you want to reset... Oh my god. How many times can I fuck up this line? No, that's not going in the video. Finally, apparently the game has really taken to its English roots, and there's a lot of Pokemon names that are based on things that will make English people giggle. Also, your mum is mum, not mom, which is how it's supposed to be if you're English.